Let's see what we can do with this bit. We are on here because for some reason the connection for my streaming seems to keep okay.
Quality homes for everyone. At Curry's, you can see, feel, and try Sky Glass in total comfort before you buy. It's got a stunning 4K screen and Sky built in, bringing all your entertainment together in one place.
Incredible.
It even has voice control.
Pay the day for Jackal. I could watch it all day.
At Curry's, get Sky Glass Air from only £6 per month with a Sky TV subscription. Curry's, beyond expectations.
Listen up, like a lady, and you, part guy, everybody. Meet Ianos. It uses clever AI to build your super smart website in no time. And you can use many tools to start growing your business. Nice, nice, nice? Yes, I thought so. Try it, darlings. Ianos, your digital partner.
At Curry's, we help you understand energy-efficient tech.
LG VX70 AI direct drive model with 0.314 kilowatt-hour cycle.
It means it uses AI technology to choose the perfect wash, protecting your clothes and saving energy.
Wow, catchy.
Telepathy uses less energy than talking.
So, what are we thinking right now?
Washing machine? Absolutely nothing.
She's good. Energy efficiency made easy.
With delivery, installation and recycling for only £35.
Curry's, beyond expectations.
Okay, sorry, I've had to because my grandson's trying to help me with something. Right, okay, so as I say, I've had to come on here because for some reason all of a sudden the streaming connection, it kept saying it wasn't connecting or something like that. So I'm thinking I can't keep switching it off and on just like that, because that's annoying, isn't it, to people? So I thought I would just come on here and whatever we can do on here, I have no idea. But I'm sure we will find something to chat about. The main thing at the moment I'm thinking is whether to go back to Silent Hill tomorrow, if it will let me do it, or whether to go back to Dark Souls. Silent Hill's okay, but I find a lot of it a bit too fiddly for my liking. I'd very much like to play the first one again, but the first one, when I tried to do it, that annoyed me as well because of the way there was no way to get any different camera angles on it. So I might go back to Dark Hills. I'm getting muddled up now, aren't I? I might go back to Dark Souls tomorrow. Hi, Wills. I don't know what happened to the blinking stream connection, but it turned it off twice, didn't it? And I'm thinking, I can't keep doing this every couple of seconds. So I've given it up. It's a nuisance. And I think maybe you just heard me say, I think I might go back to Dark Souls tomorrow. Yeah, it just shut off, didn't it? It's 1 minute it was there, and the next minute. And I'm thinking, oh, and I mean, I've looked at my internet and everything, and it seems fine. So I don't know what else it was. But all this technology stuff, it can sort of tie you up in knots sometimes, can't it? So there you go. Anyway, I hope you had a... What top is it? Well, Hydrocross, I think, is having some challenge. The same thing happened to me last one. Did it? Oh, thank you, Hydrocross. At least that makes me feel a bit better that it's nothing to do with what I've been doing here or anything. Yeah. Okay, Wills, what topics have we got? Well, I'm open to discussions. If there's anything anybody would like to talk about. The main thing that's going on with our news here, as I've got it on here watching at the moment, is this thing about there's a football match coming on and they want to stop one lot from coming along to watch it because they're frightened or they're worried that there's going to be a big fight going on between the one lot and the other lot. So that's called a bit, brought about a bit of a controversy here. You know, I mean, I don't know. Not my area of expertise. Soccer hooligans, is that what they call them? Yeah, no, is it the... I'm not sure if it's... maybe it'll come up again in a minute. And... Sorry, I'm just reading something else that's coming up. This is something else that's starting to come up on our news now. They're picking to bits all of the authors and some of the stuff they have written back along in the past, some years back. They're now bringing that into everything that's going on today. They're going on about Tolkien and what he's written. Tolkien has demonized people of color. Well, aren't we all people of color? I mean, we are colored just as much as anybody else. Yeah. So, at the moment, Wheels, I am fed up to the back teeth of putting on... I mean, I usually like to listen to the news. But yes, he wrote Lord of the Rings. I mean, come on, it's bloody fantasy stuff, isn't it? And they're trying to bring that into the everyday thing that's going on now. Trying to turn it into some sort of racist thing? In some of the songs they've stopped, and they've taken away you're not supposed to hear them because of the way some of it is worded. Ridiculous. I mean, this is stuff that was going on years ago. It's not as though it's being brought out now. Gosh. Thing Elder Scrolls feels high. Yeah. This is so going crazy. And honestly, this wasn't a topic that I had in my mind to talk about or anything. But you see, it all comes out into my head when they go on about stuff like this. They showed earlier on somebody I'm not quite sure what he was, but he was a Muslim of Muslim faith, and he was standing up there saying not good things. And I'm sat here this morning listening to it, and I'm thinking, okay, there's been a couple of people who have just put comments up either on Facebook or on their social media thing that have been so mild compared to what this person was saying this morning. They've had the police knocking on the door and going to arrest them. Yet they will let somebody else stand up and say something 100 times worse. It's beyond me. Anyway, find something else to talk about, eh? So, I went to see my little great grandson yesterday. He is so tiny. Incredible little thing. Well, if he's going to be anything like Carl, which we think, what's he weigh? I think he weighed about 6 pounds. He looks very tiny, but I mean, you pick him up and he feels quite chunky and heavy. But he's only 5 or 6 days old now. But I'll tell you something. Carl and his young lady, they went to the hospital here for her because I think she was a little bit late. This baby should have been born a little bit earlier. So they not starting. We'll get to it. But no, they went there for her, and the hospital here, they've shut down their maternity unit. So we've either got to go. Well, there's 2 alternative places we can go to. A place called Taunton or a place called Dorchester. They're sort of a few miles away, quite a few miles away. I'm trying to think how long when I had to go to Taunton for my heart thing, how long it took. It obviously also depends on how the traffic is. But anyway, they told Carl and his young lady that she would need to go to one of these hospitals to get this baby started off, and they couldn't get an ambulance. They had to pay a taxi. That's our NHS for you. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Okay, so perhaps if it was somebody that had something not quite so immediate, they might be justified in saying, well, you can get your own way there. But although the young lady drives, she couldn't drive in her condition. The only other alternative was to get a taxi because they were given to understand that she needed to get to the hospital as quickly as they could. I think it was absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And then, of course, another thing, they were saying yesterday they went to register the baby, and because they went to this other hospital, they can't register him here very well. They were able to do something, but they couldn't get a birth certificate for it, I don't think, because where they went to, it was a different county to us, even though it was just over the border. So that sort of caused a bit of a complication as well. Yeah. They told her she had to go back home, and then she had to go back again. Yeah, I mean, I've heard this, and we're hearing there's always various stories are coming up about things like that. And it doesn't give you so much faith in your health system as you should have. You know, all these little stories and things that happen to people, it gradually chips away at your thinking of how your health service should serve people. Yeah. So do you know what to expect with dog? I think the lady's baby can. It's bad, isn't it? Said she wondered. Oh, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely blinking ridiculous. But see, another little thing I always I don't agree with them taking what medication I take for my diabetes, right? And they will prescribe you'll have this for this and that for that, and that's something else. And it's like a bog standard, give it out to everybody. Everybody who's a diabetic, right? You will all take this stuff. And my argument there over it is nobody reacts the same. What might be good for one person might be absolutely dreadful for another person, but they don't seem to think of that. They just think that this is the medication, everybody can take it. But it doesn't work as well as they think it does. Yeah. Girl. Didn't know what to know. Metformin I take because and especially since I had the heart attack, I've had stuff added to me. I mean, some of it I need to only take for a year, and then they're going to stop it, and it should be fine. I take 13 tablets in the morning. I take 2 at tea time, and I take 2 at night. So that's 13, 14, 15. That's 17 tablets a day, plus injections. But yeah, and you know what? With the metformin, I've been very, very lucky because apparently I've heard a lot of people take metformin and it absolutely does them up. So, I keep my fingers crossed and think how thankful I am that I can tolerate that, because that is one of the medications that that one can be very, very tricky. It can. And I've heard of people. And another thing I couldn't tolerate were the statin tablets. But you see, the problem was a lot of my heart stuff was because I didn't take statins. They used to absolutely cripple me up. Hey, Charlie. Hello. Welcome. But then after having, and I think it was, the surgery kept phoning me up and saying about, oh, well, we see you don't do this and we see you do. No, I'm not going to. In particularly at the time when we had Carl with us. And I mean, I was sort of looking after him when he was a bit younger when we had him. And he needed sort of to get acclimatized to living with us and everything. And, I used to say to them, look, I've got stuff to do at home. I know I can have a choice. I can either possibly have a stroke or a heart attack, or I can get so done up that I can't even walk. But I've got things here to do at home that for me were much more of my priority. But they used to bug me all the time about it. But then obviously when I had the heart attack and everything, very nice doctor was in the hospital there with me, and and I said to him, okay, fine, I don't mind trying anything. So they put me back on these statins, but I'm on a very, very low dose, and so far they seem to be doing okay. But no, some of this stuff can be really I have got 2 lots that I know. They gave me a paper with a list of. I've got a box underneath here, a big plastic box, and it is big. It is full of medication. And I've got a paper that they gave me from the hospital when I came out with a list of everything on it. And a couple of the things, I think one is a blood thinner one, and I'm not sure what the other one is. But those 2, it does say to be taken for a year and then to come off of them. So that will take away 2. Yeah. But the rest of them I will be on all the rest of my life. I mean, so there's blood pressure ones. There's thyroid ones, because apparently my thyroid's not right. And then they found out that my B12 was too low. So I have to take B12. And blood pressure stuff, diabetic stuff. It's all a bit of a mixture. But I seem to tolerate everything okay. And thank goodness, I've been taking these statins for a while now, and I seem to be okay on those. But they can be a nightmare too, blinking statin tablets. That I seem to be tolerating them fine, Idocras. And this is the thing, isn't it? You really have got to strike lucky on some of them that you can tolerate them. Well, you see, I gave up my driving license, and my husband was so cross over me doing that. But I gave up my driving license because when I started on, this is some years back now, when I started on the blood pressure tablets were the ones, I didn't feel like I was steady enough, because they were making me, like, if I turned round too quickly, I would sort of get quite dizzy. And I thought, I can't be driving a car like that. If I've got to look over my shoulders sometimes and then look back again, everything is sort of wobbling. So I gave up my driving license. But over the years, gradually, they, those have settled into my system, and I'm fine with those now. Yeah. Vertigo. I've had vertigo is a nightmare. Now, I think I've had about 3 or 4 attacks of vertigo. And I remember my mum saying to me that she was having vertigo, and apparently that can be a side effect of diabetes, though the thing with vertigo is because it's your ears, isn't it? And they say you've got these little crystals in your ear, and sometimes they get dislodged, and that is when you can have a vertigo attack. The last one I had was quite a few years. I have them very rarely. There can be years between one and another. The last time I had a vertigo attack was some years ago, and that hit me sort of when I was going to bed one night, and I sat on the edge of the bed, and I'm sort of turned one side, and then I went this other side to put my phone on the table by the side there, the little unit, and just turning from one side to the other side set it off. The next thing is like everything is turning upside down, and it's worse than being 10 times drunk all at once, if that's the way I can describe it, though I have never actually been so drunk that I haven't been able to stand up right. But this, until Wills. Until and I can remember I got up and I was walking out of fashion through to the bathroom because it makes you feel really, really nauseous. And until I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but for me, until I am actually sick, it doesn't stop. And I can remember I'm there in the early hours of the morning by that time because it went on for quite a long while. I'm led on the bathroom floor because I can't, by that time, I couldn't get up. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't even sit up. And even lying down was just as bad. But until I was actually sick, and then it just goes just like that. You haven't been like that for a couple of days. Well, Wheels, you told me the other day that at the weekend, last weekend, your football team won. So I'm sure you must have had a good celebration over that. I can well imagine you went and had a few. Oh, yikes. Yeah. Why not? Eh? Why not? No, I must admit I didn't like it. I'm have a great Friday and keep on being. Oh God. Okay, Ida Crass. I get on a call. And, yeah. Thank you, Ida Crass. Thanks for coming along, and you have a good. You have a good day. I will try and go back streaming tomorrow. I've got an idea. I'm not sure about Silent Hill. I might go back to Dark Souls. See if the internet or whatever it is behaves itself. But thank you for coming. Yeah. Yes, I can't believe actually it's Friday again. The weeks go on so quick. I keep saying it soon be Christmas, but God love me, yes, it will soon be Christmas. And I just really don't want to think about it at all. But it'll come and it'll go like everything else, will it not? And I'm just reading, going back to the football here again. It's Tel Aviv band from Aston Villa. So their side, it must be the Tel Aviv Maccabi Tel Aviv. That must be their football team. Are playing our Aston Villa. And they've banned the Tel Aviv fans from coming to the football match. Because I think back, was it in France a little while back? There was an awful scuffle with them and the French team when the football was on. So they don't want it happening here. But then they do it anyway. It doesn't necessarily have to be a non-English side. Even the blinking English lot can't agree amongst yourselves. Yeah. It'll soon be your birthday. Oh, Charlie. Yeah. Now our little one has been born. He's sort of jumped into the same little cluster of birthdays. That will make my grandson, and there's this little one, and myself, and not too far away from that, my husband. So that'll be at least 4 birthdays, all within about 4 weeks. Yeah. crazy, really, isn't it? How that can happen. Wow. Oh, I wish there was something a bit happier on the blinking telly, honestly. Oh, do we not get so fed up with it all? So, Ricky Hand found with fans suffering from out of sick. That is sad. Yeah. So, what else will we be doing this weekend, peoples? So you just spend tax rate on the middle class pension. You've got a blinking cheek, you lot. We got a blinking budget coming up. That'll be a good thing to talk about, I don't think. We know what they're going to do. Oh, man. I don't know. So,
Good afternoon, this is Talk Live. I'm Peter Cardwell. We can't have anti-Semitism on our streets. That is what the Prime Minister said. Yes, for the last 2 years.
We're just discussions having to resolve the ban of the.
If you're a fan of a football club, Tel Aviv Maccabi, well, you can't go to an Aston Villa match. This is absolutely outrageous. This is clearly.
It goes back to the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Why can't people just be happy to go and see a football game, and whether their side wins or loses, it's just a game to watch, isn't it? Why does it have to get into this, or like you say, soccer madness? Just because your team isn't good enough to win, you don't have to cause such fuss. Don't understand it, peoples. I really don't. So, just look at it at the time. My stomach is telling me it's getting near tea time. I don't need a clock when I've got my stomach. It'll always tell me what time it is. Do. Menace, what's a menace to? No. Oh, excuse me. I could go to sleep late afternoon, early evening quite easily, but then when it's time to go to bed, I'm wide awake. And my daughter keeps saying my body clock's all wrong. But it is what it is. So, is this the only thing they're going to be talking about all the time now? This blinking football thing?
Well, excellent news for the people of Birmingham and most importantly, the residents here in Aston. I launched a petition to oppose the
So,
fans from coming to Birmingham and then to the Stadium. The surrounding ward of Aston is a ward that sits within my constituency. And
well, hasn't anybody got a topic they would like to talk about? I need a fairy to come in here and clear up the table behind me there, don't I? Do you think I could have a little fairy coming in and very magically tidy it all up? You could see a couple of bits I could tidy myself. We could tidy up this, couldn't we? I've got so many of these darn cables. I have no idea how I've come to have so many. Let's see if we can. And some of it, they do absolutely have a will of their own as to how they're going to go. Right. Let's see. See if I can. My father taught me this. Well, didn't actually taught me. It's what I learned from him, from watching him tidy up cables and things. Right. Put them in the box there behind me. Anything else? Oh, this is. See, I've brought the PS4 out. And I'm not really using it much. I think I said I did put the switch on the other day. Soon, I'm thinking to get rid of my little Xbox here because I don't use it. I can't remember the last time I switched it on. And I might as well take it somewhere and sell it. But then if I do, I wish I hadn't. Yeah, that's the thought. Actually, I might switch it on tonight, and because if you don't keep up these consoles, it takes forever for them to update. Yeah, I think. And the switch, when I put that on, of course, that had run out of charge. So I had to wait for that to charge up a bit. It's awful, isn't it? You need to be using them all the time to keep them up. Yeah.
A whole 10 million points. A whole 10 million points, really? Wow. What would that buy you in Stanley Hospital?
I can't hear what this chap's saying, but his facial expressions. Yeah. Wow. Oh, so they're okay. I don't know. So, come on. We've all sort of I'm just trying to think of subjects that we could perhaps talk about. What could I tell you? Have I got any little stories to tell you? Nothing comes to mind.
What kind of message does this send out that you may not go to Birmingham?
I think my brain's gone a bit numb. To do. Yes. I could. No. I could. I keep looking at that blinking table behind me. I could get up and tidy that up, couldn't I? Which I might do in a bit. Uh-huh. Discussions to resolve this football ban. I'm sure there's much more important thing. Well, I suppose it's important in a way, but I would have thought there was much more important things to discuss. Who knows what will happen? I have no idea when the football match is. Maybe it's this weekend. I don't know. But great. It's really interesting sometimes when they bring somebody on to sort of interview and talk to. It's really interesting when some of these people, and quite a fair amount of them do, they sit where they've got a bookcase behind them with a load of books on. And it's quite interesting to see the titles on the books as to maybe what they like to read. And I'm afraid looking at all these titles here, they've gone way above my head. As much as I like to read, I can't get around any of them titles. Oh, this blinking thing in my... Why don't these things stay? So, let's... So, what have I done with my... Gonna have a look and see what's on the television tonight. I think I know what's on. I hope. Been watching, I don't know, I think you get it over in the US. Oh, it's not on tonight. The Traitors. No, I quite like that. And this time we've got it running. It's celebrity people. Yeah. I must admit I do like that, but they're only showing it twice, 2 nights a week. So instead of that tonight, absolutely nothing I'm interested in at all on there. I'm getting so picky with what I like to watch on television. It's incredible. I think in the days when television was quite novel and new, you'd sit and watch anything, wouldn't you? But now, not so much so. So, And I think as I'm getting older as well, my taste in television programs has changed dramatically. And I look at it now and I think to myself, did I really used to watch that? And loads of it now are all repeats. I think I was complaining the other day, and I was saying I don't know why we pay television license to watch things that we've watched before. So I actually Googled it, and I Googled what happens if I don't pay my television license, and apparently, obviously, oh well, you wouldn't be able to watch anything on television, but you could stream it all. So it makes you think, doesn't it? If you've got a television that stream all your programs, why do you want television in television license? Charlie, what are you playing? You're playing a kids game. They're quite good to play sometimes, you know. So I've just dropped the thing on the floor. Some of them. Sometimes I go back and play the dinky little things. What's that one where you do the farming things? Oh, Harvest Moon, isn't it? I think it's called. That's quite good. Sometimes it's nice to just go back to do the simple little ones. I find it, it's just a nice change from trying to play something quite so challenging. I still quite like Mario. I've got an idea. I think Mario World, I've got an idea. I don't think I ever done all of it. But I can remember on the second Mario, because the first one it came out, you just sort of went along. It was just like an ordinary platformer where you just went along and you went along. And then the second Mario I played, you could actually go back. And I think that was the start of you being able to move your character one way or the other without it having to be so linear that you could only go forwards. Danny Seeves, hey, good day to you. We are chatting about, well, whatever you would like to chat about. I'm always up for any topic, any suggestion. Yeah. So, if there is anything, please feel free. Or any questions? I'm not saying I'd be able to answer everything. Excuse me, I'm getting a bit throaty. But we do our best. We will try our best. And just at the moment, wishing that they could put some different news up on the television. It's what they keep talking about over and over again, because they ain't going to solve the problem. But then I suppose it gives everybody a chance to air their views on things. Yeah. I'm hoping that my streaming stuff will be better tomorrow when I go on it. I don't know why it started cutting off. Got a will of its own sometimes, all this technology stuff. It's fine when it works, but when it doesn't work, I must say though, it sort of slows you down a little bit. Like I was thinking about when they had all the problems at the airports and having to check people in for their flights without some of the technology that they could use to zip people through quickly. At least it made life slow down a bit by then having to check and double check and perhaps use a paper and pencil to write things down. Back to the good old days. It's incredible how stuff moves on so quickly. It makes life go along so quickly. Sometimes don't seem like you got 5 minutes to breathe. So I'm trying to stick my hair up, but it will not stay. Try that again for a bit. So we'll soon be on to another weekend. I'm not thinking that we're going to be doing anything different this weekend to what we usually do. It's incredible, you know, as you get older, you think to yourself, you just haven't got the get up and go to want to go out and about like you. Well, there are some people that do. But just the thought of, you know, do we want to go out there? Do we want to do this? I think my husband would. He'll go around. And he goes around sometimes with his mate, and his mate can't understand why I'd rather stay at home. What do I want to go out with two old farts for? I'd rather stay home and have my own company and let them two go out and do whatever. Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. So I think I'm going to have to try and get my head around writing some more poetry out. If I can't think of anything to talk about, I'll have to start getting my literary head into action. Hey. Yeah. I would quite like to write another little story. I wrote one little short story. I wouldn't mind writing another one. I got halfway through one some time back along, and then it sort of dropped off the radar. No, well, I think we have that one. Let me have a look. I'm trying to think. I think it's on a Saturday. Strictly Come Dancing we have. Yes, on a Saturday night. Yeah, I think there's been some withdrawals on that. I think somebody broke their ankle and somebody else got ill. But I haven't watched it for quite a while. And also Dancing on Ice. I think we get that as well. I would imagine what you're saying, Danny, is probably very similar to what we get. Because the Strictly Come Dancing that we have, that is celebrity people. So I reckon that would be probably very similar. Yeah. I haven't watched that I used to watch that. This goes to what I was saying just now. For some reason, my taste in what I watch on television, as I've got older, has changed so dramatically. I think a lot of it is because now I've got Netflix and I've got a lot of our normal channels streaming that I can pick better what I want to watch. It's a spin-off, is it? Yeah. And I was talking about the Traitors. Now, I think there's a Traitors. Is there? I think there's. I've seen it on Netflix or somewhere. I think you do it in the US, and also another one I think you do in the US that we have is Dragon's Den. Now, I think I've seen that up on Netflix as well. It's sort of advertising, but I've never actually watched it. Again, I mean, I watched, I think Dragon's Den was on last night and Traitors, but I like the Traitors. And I've got an idea the other Traitors I've watched was the Australia. I think they do it in Australia as well. But our Traitors one that's airing at the moment, that is all celebrity people in it. It's going along quite well. I don't know, perhaps whether I like watching that because they do a series and then they stop for quite some time. And maybe I'm thinking maybe I like that better because you're not bombarded with the same one. Some of these shows they will put on and then they'll do a series of it and then they'll stop for a couple of months and then you'll get another series of it and it'll go on like that all through the year. Where I think I can't remember how long ago since the last Traitors was on, but it's quite a little while. And then all of a sudden they come back and you're more interested in it, I think. Yeah. But I think, as I said, I think Netflix and the Amazon Prime and some of the other streaming services have really turned me off of our normal television. There's so much more interesting stuff and you can pick up a really good film as well. And some of it is, and also for me, you can watch it like I watch. Best time of the day for me is when my husband's gone to bed. If I'm lucky, and he sometimes gets a bit weary, he might go to bed about 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's the best time of the day. It's all quiet. There's no interruptions. And I'm just sat here in my little corner all on my own and I'm thinking, this is great. Best time of the day. Here is what I'm playing right now. You PJ Masks, Heroism. I don't think I've heard of that. Do you know some of it? Yeah, you all sometimes you come up with games that I've not heard of. I'm still really, really interested in something I said a couple of 3 days or so ago. An advert came up on my phone for a particular game. I so wish I'd remembered to write the name of it down, because it looked really, really good. And they were saying it was for the combat side of it and the enemy side of it, it was very, very much like the Dark Souls games. And I was thinking, in what they showed, it looked really good. But I haven't seen it since, and I have no idea what platform it was on, whether it was a console game or whether it was a computer game or even just Steam. It was on Steam or something like that. And that sort of, I've been thinking about, yeah. Couldn't now. I've seen Control out. I tell you what else, that I'm not sure if it's out yet, but it was around when I was looking through the game list of stuff from the shop where I usually get my stuff from. And I think grandson pointed it out to me, one called Chrono. And he said, "Oh, that's good, Chrono." But I'm not quite sure exactly how it is. But Control has been out quite a while, I think, hasn't it?
This is a massive. This is a massive elephant in the room.
I'm going to get you Ghost of Yotai, but I'm holding back on it mainly because I've got so much else going on at the moment, and I don't want to bring another game into here. And then I'm going to be leaving behind everything else. As I'm going at the moment with the Dark Souls games, I wanted to do Dark Souls 3 and get that finished off. Again, like I said earlier on, I'm not sure about Silent Hill. I'm really not sure, but it's got some good bits in it. But that little girl character, I think she is so annoying, frustrating. I like to have control of a character that's got a little bit more get up and go. But some of the puzzles are good. I like the puzzle element of it. Even if I had to revert to Google earlier on to get sorted in the school classroom area there. But I feel I don't want to go away too far from Dark Souls where I was playing. So, yeah, I will have to have a think about it overnight and decide what I want to do. Hopefully, my streaming thing will behave itself tomorrow, because it had to start playing up. It was a nuisance. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the. Do you know, I made a list back along when I was looking through sort of games that were going to come along in the next 12 months or so, and I made quite a long list. And I expect probably when I tidied and cleared up some of my bits of paper that I've got around, I probably threw it away. So I'll have to go and have another look. But I'm going to get Ghost of Yotai at some point. I'm also going to get Code Vein 2 because I liked Code Vein. And after grandson said about this Chrono one, I'm going to have to sort of look into that a little bit. I'm going to have to go back and have another look and see what's going to be around and coming along in the next 12 months. I mean, if we could put some more hours in the day, it would be really good. But it's not going to happen, is it? But, what are they talking about on TV? So they started off, Danny, by talking about this football ban. The Tel Aviv fans coming to Manchester to see the Aston Villa game. And they've banned them from going to the football game because they think there's going to be a bit of a scuffle between them. And at the moment, I have got a headline here. Our BBC channel has been getting into some really bad problems lately over some of the stuff that they've been putting out and things. Yeah. Hi, Wheels. Yeah, I'm still here, dithering. We've been talking about something of nothing, bits and pieces here and there. Danny has just said, what are they talking about on TV at the moment? And I said, well, a lot of it is about this football match in banning the Tel Aviv people. And now at the moment, I've got a headline up here saying the BBC are in trouble again, our BBC channel. Something about they failed to mention a Gaza doctor who had links with Hamas. So I don't know what that was about. Whatever it was something I never saw. But obviously they were commenting. Sorry, just a sec.
West Midlands Police about its decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from attending next month's match against Aston Villa. In a letter to Chief Constable Craig Guilford,
Sorry, okay, so I'll tell you what just happened. This is twice that's happened now in about a week. There's not so many birds outside flying around now because it's the winter time and they all go flying off somewhere else. But we still do get a lot of pigeons and that about. And they fly into the window. And when I was sat here the other day and I heard one hell of a bang. And that was a bird had flown into the window. And then there was a bird just now. It's flown into somewhere out the back there. Could hear him bang. Yeah, for a long time, until I could manage to get somebody to get up high enough to clean the window off. We had the imprint of a bird on the middle bit of the window. You could see the wings and the body and everything. It was really imprinted on the window. It's flying into the window. Yeah, it's flown off. They fly off. I can remember we had one little pigeon. And that was some time ago now, because that was when Carl was living with us. Because I remember we were both out the back with it. One of it stunned itself, and Carl saw it out the back by the pathway there. And this little bird, he was just going round and round and round in circles. He died in the end. I think he'd sort of really smacked his head. Yeah. Okay, Dan, we went in there and it was crashing through the bathroom window, went in there and it was lying dead. Yeah. Oh man, that must have gone through a hell of a rate to smack straight through the window. See, we've got double glazing here, so I suppose, you know, that would stop anything like that happening. But I'm not quite sure how it happened. I'm just trying to think whether, oh yeah, in our bathroom, we've got a triangular pyramid shaped skylight on the roof. And we open the windows, obviously, you know, especially in the summer. And I think, again, I think my husband opened the bathroom door and there was this bird flying around. And do you know what? Everybody went, oh my God, there's a bird. And I said, well, catch it. No, I can't do that. I said, what? How do you catch a bird? I said, I know how you catch a bird. I said, wait until it settles, throw a towel over it, and it won't move. And then you can pick it up and put it out the window. I had to do it. Nobody else would. You have one, yeah. Those, yeah. I've had a bat, not here, but when I was a youngster down living in the country. I can remember I was only little, and I know I went up to bed, and I must have been small enough that my mother went up with me, and she opened my bedroom door, and she wouldn't let me go in. And she goes, oh, you can't go in, because there was a bat. It settled itself on the bedroom wall. Yeah. He was sleeping on the wall and walked up the bed sheet and just bought it. Yeah. And that's what you do. If you cover them over, can't you, Wills? You can pick them up and throw them out. And I remember also, now we're talking about, sorry, Danny, I'm not ignoring you. You asked me what's my opinion of Canada. I don't know a great deal about Canada, to be quite honest. But it's like everywhere, I think, you know. It seems really nice. Maybe it's a bit cold and snowy. But they are, so yeah. Another little story, when we were living down in the country way there, I had this crazy way of going up the stairs. Again, I was quite young, and you know, youngsters, you do all sorts of silly things. I had this stupid way of going up the stairs on my hands and knees, right? So that my face was just level with the next step up. And I was going up there one night like that, again, to go to bed. I got to the top step, the step before the top step, and right on this top step, staring back at me, was a frog. I always remember the frog the frog at the top of the stairs. Do you know, when I think of it, we had all sorts coming in our house there. But I used to travel to Godwin, and they always seem to have the same with it as we get here. Yeah. It was a frog. It was a frog, I think. Yeah, I think it was only a frog. Yeah, but we used to get all them sorts of things. I think it's a great educator, the countryside. It really is. When I think what I know about things, I would never have known living in town. It's crazy. But the only thing I think now where we're living, I mean, we're right in the middle of the town now, and we haven't got much. We've got a very small backyard out here. But I think the tree is the thing that does it. I have never seen so many birds and so many different birds. When we when we lived in the house that we've come from to come down into here, that was quite going into countryside as well. There was our sort of estate of houses, and there was just fields and that all the way around from there. And we had loads of trees in our back garden then, because we had a large back garden, and we never saw half of the birds that I see since we've come here. It's incredible. Yeah. We always saw toads, not in mid. Frogs usually hang out around the water. Yeah, I think we had. Yeah, we had some quite soggy, watery type places in the fields. I mean, in our house then, you came out of the back door, you had the pathway down both sides of the house, and then the pathway was no more than what, just very small. And then there was the hedge in the field over the other side. We were very, very close into the fields, and a lot of the fields there were very boggy and marshy in the corners. And I think maybe a frog or two around in them at times, because they lay eggs that become tadpoles. They do, yeah. Yeah. You had turtles, or not turtles. I had a tortoise. I love turtles and tortoises. I had a tortoise when I was a little. When I said, I always wanted a tortoise. And I can remember we had to go on the train up to a particular town to buy this tortoise. And I remember sitting in the train on the way back home with this tortoise in a box. And I was so dead pleased I had this tortoise. And unfortunately, it didn't survive its hibernation. I think it got too cold. I don't know. I can't. I mean, I thought we looked after it well. I can remember we had it in a thing and it was packed up with straw and everything. And I know my dad said, give it plenty of straw, keep it warm, but it still didn't survive. Yeah. You get snapping turtles. Oh no, I don't think we do, Wills. Not snapping turtles. I've not heard of anybody having a snapping turtle. I'm not sure if we have turtles at all out in the wild. I'm not sure that you might only you'd have to go to a zoo to see a turtle. But then, I mean, I don't know. There might be somewhere in one of our seaside places. There might be sea turtles, but I'm not sure. And I remember we had a. Oh, really? Yeah, but they bite, don't they? I mean, they're called snapping turtles. Surely they could give somebody quite a nasty nip. Yeah, but then they have a big beak for a mouth. Yeah. So these people then that decide to go in grab these turtle thing, then what do they do with them? Do they throw them back in the water again, or do they take them off somewhere? I know you get people, yeah, and they have a massive chomping strength. Yeah, I bet they do. Yeah, they make turtle soup. No. Turtle soup. No. Well, if that's what you like, But I tell you, do you have things called newts? That's something we have over here. Now I can remember back again when I was youngster, you'd find newts in the like in the ponds, in the little river places. They're like little tiny lizardy things, I think, if I can remember. Yeah. They're like, yeah. Have you eaten it? Yeah. Frog's legs and alligator tails.
Pay a low fat fee instead of
Yeah.
and keep the money you make. Interactive investor. I think, therefore,
I'm not sure I would be fancying much of frog's legs. Alligator tails probably okay. Probably there's a lot of meat on that. A salamander. Yes. Maybe, yes. Could be. But yes, and then I mean, I can't remember now exactly. I've sort of got it in my mind a little bit. There was a particular pondy bit. We used to go looking for frog spawn, which was bad really. You should leave the frog spawn alone because they come out in little tiny frogs. Yeah. Crawdads. Yeah, you have crawdads. Are they like prawns, mini lobsters or something? Yeah. I think you have a great deal more things over there than we do. It's like a little lobster. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have sort of, what I would call bog standard fish and that in the rivers and the seas, freshwater fish or sea fish. And nothing sort of, yeah. If I'm playing around near that creek, it's like a lost eye. It's all the things you did when you was a kid, eh? Yeah, we used to go frog spawn hunting. We also used to go caterpillar hunting. You could play on the ice, yeah. Yeah, we had I'm trying to think what else did we used to go with? Play caterpillar hunting and used to get an empty jam jar, find a caterpillar and stick some greenery in it and stick the caterpillar in it and hope that it would eventually, we could see it turn into a butterfly. Yeah. We had a motorbike. Oh, no, God, what did they used to call it? If you went from our back door and over the hedge, because there was a break in the hedge where I used to keep going over it into the field. And if you went over that, walked across the field. No, what the hell did we used to call it? We used to have motorbike scrambling, and I'm wondering if your motorbike trails would be very similar to our motorbike scrambling. I think probably it would. And we could more or less just walk up and across a field. It might be a couple of fields, and come to the bottom part where they used to go round the trail on motorbikes. That used to happen nearly every weekend. I wonder if they still do that. Do you know, and I'm trying to think, remembering what that place was called. Isn't it awful? My brain is deserting me. But yeah, well, I was never one who had a sledge, but I tell you what we used to do, even in the summer times. I think I said before, there's a particular place called Corfe Castle, and it's up on a hill, and it's not here, it's a mile or two away. But if our youngsters could catch somebody who had a car, perhaps a young lad that was older than us and old enough to have a car, we'd all pile in the car and we'd go over to Corfe Castle, and we get up the top of the hill, and you'd have a sheet of some sort, like a tarpaulin, and you all sit on the tarpaulin and scoot off, and you go down the hill on this tarpaulin. But my God, didn't your behind suffer? All the blinking bumps and dips all the way going down. Yeah. The Ohio River, I saw that on the Google when we were Googling in the map and that before Wills. And I remember you were saying the River Ohio is huge. It is quite wide, isn't it? Yeah. I'm trying to think what we could sort of. It's like a property of absolutely. Yeah, I can remember I went to Google mapping around by it. I suppose our River Thames would be about, but then again, yeah. Is it as big? Is it really? Ah. Yeah. It's proper big, yeah. Over the Mississippi, do you really? That's great, isn't it? It was, I bet it was. Yeah. That's super. I'm just trying to see what we have got we have got nothing that would come up anywhere near that. Yeah, where you live now, yeah. Comes Ohio, yeah.
In an ideal world,
yeah. Well, the longest, I'm going to say the longest drive, mind you, we have driven from Calais or Le Havre in France through to Spain and through to the north of Spain. That was quite a drive. And the thing was, my husband wouldn't really like to stop. But I mean, that's like a couple of days drive. Where Hog Fan lives, does he live in Texas? Tennessee, Kentucky, oh my gosh, you're around there in Tennessee, Kentucky. Oh. Yeah, and I'm just trying to think. We went up to Scotland as well, and that was an overnight because we stopped halfway through at a hotel. Yeah, but no, my husband, I mean, maybe he wouldn't do it now, I don't know, but he was crazy mad once he got driving. He wouldn't want to stop until we got to where we were going. Yeah. How long would it take? Well, we went from where we are, which is nearly south, up over the border into Scotland, very close to Edinburgh. And then you've got the rest of Scotland after that. Again, it would depend, I suppose, traffic conditions and road conditions and things. But I can remember when we went to Scotland, we did do an overnight stay. I mean, to just go from here to London, that takes nearly 3 hours. So I reckon you needed to say at least 2.5 days to get from one end to the other. Yeah. Hey, Charlie. Welcome back. But no, my husband, he used to drive when we came living down by with my mum for a start, which was in the town of the Harry Potter place. And then my husband, he was still working up in London. I mean, he's come down from London. What's about 300 miles or so, is it? I'm not sure. How far is he from London? I'm going to have to look it up. He came down from London to here the early hours of the morning when there was absolutely no traffic on the road at all, and he done it in 45 minutes, and he was going some. I don't think he went under 100 miles an hour. That was bad, really. I'm just going to check out and see how far. Mileage from Yeovil to London. Yeah, the drive, 3 hours and 11 minutes to get to London. It's only 133 miles. I thought it was more than that. Okay. And what about to Scotland? Right. Let's try. Say to Edinburgh. Oh, 7.5 hours from here just to Edinburgh. So it's not as much as I thought then, not as long as I thought. It's 426 miles. And then up the top again. Let's have a look. What's there? Can you drive? Oh, no, not from London. From London to Edinburgh, it's about a 7-hour drive, they're saying. Yeah. So no, it's not as long as I thought it would be then. So if it's seven, add on another hour if you're down here, 8 hours up to Scotland, and then probably another 8 hours up to the top. From Olaf, but yeah. Mind you, your roads are brilliant up there as well, aren't they? I mean, we've sort of come into the 21st century by having dual carriageways and motorways, but your roads are still much better. Yeah. Ah, okay, Charlie, you downloading it? Yeah. But the US is vast, isn't it? It's massive. Yeah. It's all laid out pretty good. Yeah. I tell you what, though, the films I've been watching back, I think I said, from the early days of the US, when you had the wagon trains and that, showing how they came to places, and that was how America more or less was built, wasn't it? Where all those people, they went all over and established the towns, and incredible. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? How different parts. Yeah, they were setting up towns that they were, and I find that so interesting. Yeah, it was set up around some industry. Yeah, and obviously, yeah, I think that was very similar to here, um, because we've got various portions of the UK that are dedicated to one particular thing. Like just our little town down here, for example, we were the leather industry and the gloving industry. And then if you get up to Manchester and Birmingham, you've got the steel industry with the steel factories. Though we haven't got much steel nowadays, I think the last steel factory that is working here in this country is soon going to be no more. And then, of course, if you go over to Wales and also up in Scotland, you get the mining industry. Yeah. Pittsburgh was steel. Yes. Yeah. Mines and steel. Yeah. And then down further along from us, where you've got Cornwall and Devon, that was the tin industry where they had tin mines. So each little part, I think in any country, you've all got your own little bits of industry and stuff. Yeah. Yes, I know Carnegie. Yeah, he was from Scotland. He's still got massive properties up there. Yeah. There was a place, I don't know if there still exists, called Carnegie Hall. Was it not? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there was some, does that still, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was some really sort of big, I suppose in a way, would you call them entrepreneurs that started things and brought things in? Is it really? So, yeah, into all kinds of things. Yeah, well, now you see, not far from here, in a place called Bristol. Now, I'm not quite sure what they've done because they, it hasn't been on the news for quite a while, but probably about, a couple of years or so ago, Bristol, unfortunately, but again, it's nothing what we can do in the modern day do about it. But Bristol was built on the slave trade. And there was a man called Caxton, and he was a big slave trader of that era. And there are various places around in Bristol because the money he made from his slave trading, he built and made and established Bristol. And it is a city, and I suppose it's okay there. I think I've been there a few times. There was an awful lot of places. There was a place there called Caxton Hall, and then there were various streets and parts of the town named after him as well. And there was a big statue of him made, I think, by the docks, because obviously there was docks. They were near the water because of the big ships coming in with all this slave trading that was going on. And some time ago, with Carnegie's, yeah, was a couple of years ago, because now we've got what they call this multicultural society here in this country, a lot of the African people, they took against all this slaving, which is well understandable. They got together. They had a bit of a riot in Bristol, and they pulled the statue of Caxton down and threw it in the river. And the last I heard on the news about it was that they were having to change the name that this Caxton had given all these different parts of Bristol, because the African society there didn't like it. And they, I think they changed the name of Caxton Hall, but they did, or the authorities, they did get the statue out of the river, and they wouldn't restore it and put it back up on its stand like it was. I think they took it to the museum, and they've got it now in the museum, but it's in a bit of a rough state. But that all started off by, if I'm right in what the news was telling us, people were walking by his statue and were feeling very uncomfortable with it because of their background and how he came to have a statue there. And as I say, they eventually got themselves into, quite a big gang, and attacked it one day and pulled it all down. Yeah. I've heard of Rockefeller. Yeah. Rockefeller, he must have been a millionaire, eh? Yeah. Your duality. Aye. He was from, right. Yeah. He started the Standard Oil Company. Yeah. Who was the other one that was famous? There was somebody else as well as Rockefeller, wasn't there? Yeah. Henry Ford. Well, I've got a song on my iPad about Henry Ford. You can probably guess what he made. Oh, did he by any chance make cars? I didn't realise the time. I have to go. Thank you, everybody, for coming along. Yes, as I say, well, I've got a song called Henry Ford. I've been going for a while. Yeah, I've been going longer, you see, because of this blinking streaming stuff. Yes, I will do so. And thank you very much. Thank you, Charlie, Chucky. Yeah, now I'm listening to Psychosocial. Are you? Okay. I have no idea what that is, Charlie. Yay. You're educating me into a lot of things here, I think. Hey. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. We'll see what we can do. Try something a little lighter for Friday, Charlie. Yeah. Okay. It's a song, is it? Ah, right. You want to... do you know, I'm forgetting every damn thing. You want to listen to Talking Heads, Psycho Killer. That's a good one. If you do, and you're about tomorrow, let me know what you think about it. Talking Heads, they're pretty good. They've got one album that is far superior to any of the others. I'm listening to it all the time. So there you go, Charlie. There's a suggestion for you. I will leave you all to it now. Leave you in peace, eh? You have a a good rest of the day, whatever you're doing. And I will be back tomorrow. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking I will probably come back with Dark Souls 3 tomorrow. Stay out of trouble, yeah. No, I'm okay. It's trouble finds me, you know. Anyway, I've got to go. And you all take care. Hey, thank you very much. Let's see, where's the blinking thingy? Yeah, see you, Wills. There we go.